We're talking about 3v3 Arena. It can be a pain. Lots of players don't like it, and for good reason. The system isn't designed that ideally, but there are some pretty strong rewards to be had. So we're going to talk about how you can go from a zero to a hero in the 3v3, or also called Tag Team Arena, for some strange reason. So let's get right into it. What up, guys? It is MurderInc here. We are talking about the Tag Arena. Also, I don't even know why I'm saying it. Tag Team Arena. It shouldn't be called that. 3 versus 3. So we're getting some changes to the MMR. Is that going to fix things? I can tell you right now the answer is going to be no. I mean, kind of, but no. There's always going to be a roadblock. I don't know why Plarium hasn't figured this out. They're just shifting the roadblocks when they do mess around with the placement and ranking systems, but people are going to figure that out soon enough. That's not worth talking about now. The real issue is going to be for the first 1, 2 to 3 weeks. It's going to be very hard to climb, and it's going to be a mess, so don't judge it too harshly by then. It's going to autocorrect over time. Why they don't have permanent fixes, I'm not sure, but it is what it is. So how to get good in the arena. I've had tons of takeovers recently where I've had to get people from silver to gold, so they're getting those sweet bizarre rewards, because let's be honest, I'm pretty sure you will all agree with me on this. These rewards should be available for every single tier. Maybe there should be a different amount allotted with being in silver, gold, etc. However, I don't think gating it behind the individual bronze, silver, gold is the way to go, especially if people want the fragment wherever, okay? Especially if people are saving up for these sacred shards, these accessories, and of course the legendary skill books, which are very rare in this game. So with that being said, now let's talk about just my kind of personal opinion. Maybe you agree, maybe you disagree about what should be happening here, but overall the main point is going to be the same. They really need to kind of relook at this bazaar here and really figure out what's going on, because let's face it, the reason why Tag Arena is so bad is because it's such a large leap into this game. Throughout this game, you have 5 champions doing dungeon runs, and that's fine. It's consistent throughout the entire game here, right? You put your best gear on the 5 champions, you do dungeons, you swap it as you need different dungeons here, but now you need 4, 8, 12 champions with better than average gear on them to even compete here. And this is assuming you're using the same champions on defense as you are for offense, and it's just so much to throw at a player when they're first getting to this game, which is why this is pretty much considered a whale part of the game, no matter how you look at it. Because I mean, look at some of these teams. The average player base, this isn't them. This is not your average player base here. With 12 legendaries on defense, you know they have other champions. They probably use some of the defense, but they have 12 other champions they're going to be using for offense, predominantly legendary here. So what can you do to climb? How can you get better? We're going to talk about that today here, kind of the tricks on what I do in my takeovers to help people here. So the first thing everyone needs to know is the speed meta is still around. As you get higher in the rankings, stone skin gear, reaction gear becomes way more common, and it can be a nuisance to speed teams, but it's not the end of the world, because a lot of the times you will be able to do some serious damage to your opponent, whether it's CCing them or whatever. I'm not going to go over the typical speed teams there, but that could be a viable option for one of your defense teams. Now, like I said before, I'm going to speak to more the majority instead of the 1% here. If you're in the 1%, you can just look at the teams that I have here and kind of think in your head, what am I doing with these teams? But like I said, most people don't have access to a roster or champions like this, so it's going to be pointless to kind of explain what I'm doing here. So the basic thought is disruption is key. Remember that, everyone, please. Disruption is going to be key. When you're in the early stages and early ranks, bronze, silver, you want to push. That's going to be the key goal for you as a player. You want to keep gaining ranks in the Tag Team Arena, and you don't want it to get too hard. Of course, the ideal situation for you to farm, so you can get those gold bars if you start pushing too hard. And a lot of players make this thing where they say, Why wouldn't I push to the highest rank possible? The answer is your battles are going to be tough, you're going to be losing more often, and you're going to be wasting those tokens that can guarantee you more bars if maybe you drop down a level, which means you can buy more things from the bazaar. So disruption, like I was saying, is going to be key. What do I mean by that? Let's just go ahead and just take out everyone here. Okay, so now that I have everybody out, the first thing I want to do is, if you are not developed into the tag arena or 3v3 arena scene here, you want to use your speed team. I highly recommend you don't use your speed team first. This goes into like the psychological part of Raid Shadow Legends. There's theory crafting you can do, there's like team balance, but psychologically you want to put your speed team in the last spot here, because the natural order of people's thinking when they are going to fight someone is you're going to say, how do I counter team 1? How do I counter team 2? And then how do I counter team 3? If you use your speed team for team 3, most people, not everyone, there are some people that of course are going to be the exception, are going to have a lot of their options already taken up from team 1 and 2, which gives team 3 a very high chance of winning, even if you're not that confident in how fast your champions are. So just to kind of give a symbol for what the speed team will be, I'm going to use random champions. We have Arbiter, speed champion, defense down here. Let's just throw in Lanicus here. And then for a nuker, we're going to go ahead and use, I don't know, Septimus. Of course, Septimus isn't a nuker. You would never use him, but let's just say this team on the bottom is my speed team. Okay, so we have one thing, check it off the book. You can use this for offense and defense. You don't have to change anything about the team. Now, what do you do for teams 1 and 2? This is where you need to give them a reason to have to use fast champions in it, because you have to understand that no player will ever know what gear you have on your champions. I've gone over this in previous videos where I said kind of like the shock and awe factor is the greatest way to approach arena. And one of the main examples I did show there is using a Razin. If I put a Razin as leader here, you're going to say, okay, he has a resistance aura. You're going to give him full resistance. He's going to use that A3, try to lower your turn meter. What did I do with my Razin? I gave him like 330 speed, and I put no turn meter boosters in the entire team, and it had an incredibly high win rate. Why is that? Because no one was bringing a turn meter booster. They were saying, I'm going to bring accuracy up champions, strip champions, defense down champions. And what happened? Razin was crazy fast. He went first even without the speed aura, and he disrupted their entire team, and it caught so many teams off guard. This is why you have to approach 3v3, especially when using this disruption tactic, which is very strong here. So you can go with an example I just gave, like Razin, or you can start using other champions that have speed leaders, so you can try and run the depth thin on your attacker. That's going to be the key here. So for an example of a speed team, of course we can go with Apothecary. Lots of players have Apothecary here. Then you want a champion that offers some disruption. Mashald would be a good option here. Of course, if you had a Torment, that's a no-brainer, but Torment's rather rare unless you were around for the fusion or got lucky and pulled him. Any champion with high base speed that can also add some type of CC effect. So like I said, we are using Mashald here, but you can use someone like an Angar. You can use, who comes to mind right here, Molly Tankard would be a good option here. Anyone that the team's going to say, okay, I have to make sure either I'm going first or I have to have someone like a Hegemon. And there are just so many options that forces your opponent to say, I now have to adapt my team to what I see in front of me here to make sure that I am the winner here. So once you have your 3 champions, you have Speed Leader, Double Reviver, Turn Meter Booster from Apothecary, and finally we have our Nuker, which is going to be big in here. You can set this team and say, okay, they have to figure out a way to counter this. It's either they have an OP champion like Hegemon, like Torment, which they have to burn for this team here, or they can try to outspeed me, which gives my speed team in slot number 3 the highest chance of winning on its own here. So let's go with scenario 1 here. We burned their Hegemon Torment type champion. What do we do next? After this is where you kind of like hone into the main purpose of here. I'm going to use Danig for a nuker slot just because. And after this, we really want a champion that cleanses. So Rio Bone Spear, we have a Corn Smash Lord, Sky Touch Shaman, any champion in immunity gear that can auto cleanse here, making it so they cannot bring any type of Hegemon champion, Torment champion here, which is going to force the opponent to have to think and say, okay, I have to use that disruptor champion on team number 1 here. It's the smartest move to do, and then they're going to see what's left over, or they can hold it, try to outspeed team number 1 and use that disruption champion for team number 3 here. This is what I mean about the mental mind games, and I know some of these tactics aren't going to be ideal for everybody, but all you have to do is get your mindset in the right place when setting a defense here, and it's going to translate directly to offense when you're fighting teams here. You're going to say, okay, I set my defense a certain way, so now let's take that view and look at their defense and try to plan accordingly. What if this team isn't what it's supposed to be? As you get more experience with fighting teams, you're going to have a much simpler time overall. So finishing off this team 2 here by having a champion that cleanses in the roster, this is when you can add yet another champion that can be decently fast in your roster if you wanted to. I mean, I'm running out of Terminator boosters without using duplicates, so I'm going to just put in Lissandra here. Now, if you have Gorgorob here, Seeker, anyone like that, as long as you do have a speed aura as well, you can for sure slot them in here. And then, of course, you can use the go-to champion, which is going to be Madame Saris, and since I don't have her currently available, I'm just going to throw in Stagnite here. So now we have a fast team here with a cleanser, which is going to really throw off the enemy team, saying, okay, I can't bring a cleanser here. Another example of I have to be faster than them, because on face value of what I see for this team, there's only 1 or 2 ways to counter what's in front of them. And that's when making a defense, you really want to put the ball in your court and make sure that they have to make all of the hard decisions, and not make it so you have a very generic defense where they don't have to do much thinking or put in much effort to counter them. So that's going to be the biggest advice I have for you for Tag Team Arena or 3v3 when trying to climb. This is something, like I said, I've done for every takeover I've done, and I've done so many where I've gotten players who were hard stuck in silver and got them through to gold tag team. They can start farming teams much easier with this simple tactic here to make sure they are always progressing to that next level, and it stays consistent, and the knowledge that they gain from setting up their teams this way is going to last all the way until gold 4 in the tag team arena. So with that being said, hopefully this bit of information helps you out regardless of where you are, bronze, silver, gold, to get you to that next level in your progression here. I've been going by these rules since this came out, and also for Classic Arena, that's what first got me into pushing rankings. As I've stated in many other arena videos that I've done, the shock and awe factor is very underrated in my opinion, and it does make arena, I mean, as fun as you can call it, since like I said before, not a lot of people really do enjoy tag team. It's a bit long and drawn out and just not as fun. Unless you're into that, then kudos to you. So that's going to conclude this video. Don't forget, if you enjoy this content, smash the like button, subscribe, turn the notification bell, and I will see you all in my next upload.